More on this now with Ovigwe Eguegu. He's a policy advisor at Development Reimagined and columnist for the China-Africa project, specializing in geopolitics and Africa-China relations. He's speaking to us from Toronto in Canada. Thank you so much for your time on this news hour. What does it tell us about Russia right now, given that so many countries, so many leaders of these countries are coming together in Russia despite the criticism for Moscow's war in Ukraine?
Yeah, thank you very much for having me. Yeah. First of all, if we look at the size of the delegation of countries represented at the president or head of state or government level, we have about 22. That is very significant because for Russia to avoid the perception of being isolated, given what is happening in Ukraine, it was important to have as many countries represented as possible, even countries outside of current official members of the Brics, but are prospective members, because that isolation would be very bad optics. And so if you look at the way it is going now, it seems Russia has been able to at least avoid that political trap, you could say. So yeah, but from substantive point of view, beyond just the symbolism, it's also important that the items being discussed on the agenda, Russia has been able to mobilize support around certain positions because Brics is very diverse and perspective also very diverse. So it shows that Russia, under its presidency of the Brics, has been able to mobilize and build a consensus among Brics countries and aspiring members.
Ovigwe, this grouping is often touted as the global South coming together, as the global South rising up against the West. But how strong is this group when compared to other groups like the G7, even the G20, where some of those Brics members are also a part of?
Yes, first of all, I think it's important to mention that Brics is different in the sense that from its origins, it has always been about emerging economic powers, or the major economic powers that are emerging at the time, and how they can look at ways to enhance their economic cooperation, first among themselves, and also to sort of shape the global economic landscape in their favor. Because, for instance, China being a major exporting or export-dependent economy, manufacturing country, the same thing with India, an emerging manufacturing country as well, Russia being an exporter of major energy resources, it made a lot of sense. So even with the first wave of expansion to include South Africa, and also even now, the question is how we, so-called global majority, because as you know, the Brics now represent a majority of the world in respect to in relation to population and even GDP on PPP basis at 35%, G7 is at 30, right? So this gives them a lot of inspiration to shape the global trading system, financial system, like you mentioned in the opening of the report, and also see how to ensure that the rules of the road, they are able to set it in a way that favors their countries.
Be very interesting to see what happens over the next few days. Ovigwe Eguegu in Toronto, thank you very much.